chemistry, dentistry, and a moment of madness. Just off the road, through the bushes, the tracker's finger pointed to a massive orange head, studded with golden eyes. My throat spasmed. It was so longed for, yet so unexpected. So huge, so close, so stunning, so many things. The tracker informed us that she was a well-documented tigress, officially called B29, but respectfully referred to as Mataji, as she had brought 13 litters of cubs to adulthood. She was a super mom, provisioning and protecting her cubs expertly and hardly ever losing one to hunger or predation. Her flanks heaved with every breath as her eyes moved through our group, one by one. In turn, I felt her gaze on me too. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't blink. I couldn't think. I've never felt such a strong connection. With an almost fiery chemistry, she pulled me into her. A massive pink tongue rolled out from behind terrifying yellow teeth. Once, twice, thrice she licked her paw. Then in a fluid movement, she stood up. "Freeze," the guide whispered. Only the cameras whirred and clicked furiously. But as she moved, the whole jeepload took a collective gasp. She was limping, favoring her right forepaw. She stopped and settled herself in the dirt, clearly visible this time, out in the open. What I hadn't noticed when she was in the thicket was that she was licking the underside of her paw. She raised her head and looked straight at me. I felt hypnotized by the golden glow of her eyes, and my heart squeezed in my chest. The guide whispered that it must be a porcupine needle. This was not good news for Mataji, he warned. Since the needle had broken and seemingly left a remnant in the paw, there was likely no way for her to extract it. It would fester and ultimately kill her. "Can't a vet pull it out?" someone asked, as the rest of us cringed at his callousness. "This isn't a zoo," he countered. "It's a forest. We shouldn't interfere. She's had a good life. Another tigress will rise to stardom after her. It's the natural order of things." But Mataji was special, he admitted, revealing some tenderness. There may never be another one like her. He was already talking of her in the past tense. The magnificent creature lowered her head to lick, then lifted it to skewer me with her eyes again. I felt all shivery inside. "She's looking at me," I whispered to my husband, unable to unlock my eyes from hers. "Yes," he murmured. "I noticed that. I wonder what she means." "She means me to pull it out for her, that's what she means," I whispered back, shocking myself. He gripped my shoulder. "Don't be thinking crazy things, for God's sake, love." "But I may have to," I replied. "She's calling me." The guide spun around instantly. "It is absolutely forbidden, madam. That's how people get killed. You cannot get out of this vehicle." He indicated to the driver to move on. But he was too late. I'd already got my leg over the side and was climbing off before he or my husband could react. As long as we stayed in the vehicle and didn't provoke the animals, we were safe. I knew. The best strategy was always to drive away from danger, they'd said. But they couldn't abandon me, I hoped. I heard the guide's voice behind me, brusque and angry. "Don't even think about following her, sir. You've put us all in grave danger, madam." I was crouching, instinctively lowering my height to hers. The raw animal smell of her was overpowering and made my eyes water. Her huge head was just a few feet away and those massive paws could have knocked me. I stopped myself in my tracks. No, 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 that way madness lies. Our eyes locked, and the connection was mesmeric. I had no volition. I must do this, that was all. She lowered that gigantic head onto her good paw, the left one, and looked into me. I'd been going steadily to pieces, but when she did that, made herself so vulnerable, something just snapped into place inside me, and I came together in a rush and slipped into my professional persona. "Let me take a look at that, my dear. I don't want to hurt you, but if I do, raise your left paw, okay?" "For the love of God," I heard my husband muttering behind me. "She's a dentist," he explained. I reached out and touched the injured paw. "There's a good girl," I murmured, partly to her and partly to myself, I suspect. "Now I'm going to turn it over, okay? I need to look. I have to touch it, do you understand?" Yes. It's quite clear there's something there. You've done a good job keeping it clean, I'll grant you that. But there's no way I can reach that, my girl. You've driven it down between the pads. "I need a pair of pliers," I said over my shoulder. "It's here," the driver answered and dived under his seat, rummaging in his toolbox. All the time, I had both my hands on her paw and was holding it gently. If she hadn't supported me by rolling it over on request, I couldn't have done it. It was so dense and muscular. I was grateful that the claws were politely sheathed. She barely moved, only flicking a ear or a whisker occasionally as she maintained steady eye contact with me. I was trying to visualize her as a regular patient in my clinic with a tooth that needed extraction. So the pep talk was more to distract myself than her, but she submitted to it with grace. "You've been quite a silly girl, haven't you? At your age and with your experience of life, you should have known better than to tangle with a porcupine. No good ever comes of them. Were you protecting your cubs, huh? Was that it? Still foolish, my love. Now, if I could just have those pliers..." "Here they are." The guide leaned out and handed them over. They were much more chunky than my clinical ones, but basically the same family. So I flexed them once or twice to get comfortable. I held her paw down gently. "I'm sorry, dear, this will hurt a bit, but it's better out than in." There were people praying in that jeep. I could feel the warm waves on my back and was grateful for them. I flexed my hands again, gave the pliers a practice crunch, took a deep breath, and was just zeroing in when she moved. Everyone froze, especially me. She rolled out that massive tongue to lick her injured paw again. She looked deep into my eyes, as if reminding me she had given me her trust. I took another calming breath and reached for her paw. But again, she moved her head towards my hand. There were teeth in that head, and I heard the sharp intake of breath behind me. But she just licked me with her enormous, muscular tongue. It was rough and wet and stinky, and I had to wipe my hand on the seat of my pants. But yet, it was a clear sign. I was all in now. No chills or hesitation. I mopped my wet brow and talked soothingly, telling her what I was going to do as I started doing it. Rolling the paw over, separating the huge pads, positioning the pliers on the stump of the needle that was still visible above the skin, reaching in firmly and with a slow twist of the wrist, drawing it out. I'm used to teeth, and there's not much distance to pull, and this was a good 3 inches. But it came out of the wound easily with a soft sucking sound. The trophy was still clenched in the pliers, but already she was licking her paw. In the circumstances, her saliva was the best antiseptic and would keep the wound clean and prevent an infection. I needed her to recover. I was deeply invested in her. I backed off and turned to clamber into the vehicle, but the adrenaline suddenly drained out of me, and I collapsed, internalizing for the first time what I'd just done. My husband's strong arms pulled me to safety, bundled me into a jacket, and held me as I shivered and shuddered against his chest. It was after a good long time hiding in his embrace that I heard him say, "She's leaving." I peered out nervously. The strange chemistry had dissipated. She was just an impressively large tiger, too close for comfort, and I was just a tourist huddling in the safety of my husband's arms. She didn't look back at the vehicle or at me, just padded off soundlessly and disappeared into the jungle.